All right, we are approaching the climax of Class A versus B, one of my favorite arcs in B and HA so far. Um, it looks like Class A got it. I don't know. Is there room for one more twist? They're not in jail yet. Oh, this one is called the conclusion of Class A versus Class B. So probably this is it. Grabbed the binding cloth and wound it around him by rotating to get closer. Ah, he really reeled himself in. Looking forward to showing how much I've changed since then. Every last one of them. Just pushing forward without ever stopping. Well, don't be so disappointed, man. This is just how it is. I love this little panel here that recaps just a bunch of disconnected moments from this arc. What a good arc. Oh, man. Just it's like, it's not even brilliant, you know? The brilliance was set up long ago when these characters were first established and with this whole premise of the superhero school. And to get to that point and then just to say, all right, it's Class A versus Class B. Like the fact that you can do that, that it can be such a great arc when you're just doing that simple thing. That's the brilliant part. Hero class share is amazing. But in the fifth set, Class A looks like they won. Wins with a 4-0 victory. Nicely done. Over the battles, everyone came to know their enemies, know themselves, and fought bravely. Oh, I get it. But Vlad before was way too impartial, or way too partial. That is, sorry. Was cheering for Class B exclusively, so they had to switch up the MCs at the end. That's pretty great. First set won by Class A, second Class B, third was a draw, fourth and fifth victories for Class A. So Class A won. Alright, good job. I'm not too surprised. You know, this manga is pretty good about subverting expectations sometimes. But in the end of the day, it's still a shonen manga. You still want to see your protagonists win. And they did. All in all, it's super frustrating. And here we see some of the more bizarre members of Class B. The Thorn Jesus Lady and Manga Man. God, I love this character so much. And then the Mushroom Girl. Perhaps my favorite of them all. I was so... There's like one chapter that ends with mushrooms just like growing everywhere. And it cuts to her and she's like, that's right, it's mushroom time or something. It's like, what? Oh, what a good arc. Oh, I just love it. Couldn't do anything on my own. I'm still too weak. Transfer exam, wasn't it? Easy format to test how I do without my support item. Right. Oh, the teacher's critiques. This is something they do quite often. I think it's pretty good. It kind of brings out some of the more subtle strategic elements. And usually there's like a few revelations that there's like no way we could have known, but that always makes sense in retrospect, and they're always brought about quite nicely, I think. Tori, what's your deal? Whoa, it is the two darkness characters. The dark shadow, of course, which prevails in shadowy places, and then this guy who we saw, who can move from any black surface to any other black surface. So you get quite far from your super strength, don't you think? What the heck is going on? I also don't fully understand it yet. Yeah, that's honest. My power started overflowing and I couldn't suppress it. Felt like the power I'd always trusted suddenly bared its fangs at me. I was really scared myself. Yuraka and Shinso stopping it for me. I quickly realized that wasn't the case. No idea what would have happened. Jesus, we were there, but thanks, both of you. Yeah. Yeah, of course. He was just trying to brainwash him. Even I fell for it. I really did. You got me. Alright, this is nice, though. This is nice. I really like this shot of the three of them. They actually make a pretty good team in some ways. In that Uraka is really good at like helping people position themselves, helping people kind of run and hide. Shinso is really great at support roles, being able to take out people that are problematic, and then Deku just punches everybody else. Um, but we saw, and then of course this other aspect of Deku that sometimes he needs a little calming down. They did that really well too. It's saying Shinso performed well. Uraka's quick decision making was simply wonderful. Put her own body on the line and jumped in to stop. I love that. Love it. Oh, me too. Oh, it was so moving. I'd much rather do that than do nothing and regret it later. Oh, it's so cute. They're really teasing her. Oh, how nice. Oh, how nice. I really like that pairing. I think it's just such a nice pairing. They're so good for each other, you know? They really deserve people like each other. And I think the author has said, as kind of like a, just so you guys aren't worried, I feel like the author said somewhere, like, oh yeah, they end up together. Just don't worry about it. They end up together. And then it becomes a lot more fun when it doesn't actually feel like jeopardized or anything. That we're just watching this inevitable, really beautiful outcome. Oh my god, she's blushing so much. Didn't only do it for Midoriya. Oh, this is Shinso saying this. Sorry. If something wasn't done about it, Class B likely would have lost either way. That's true. The first like rampaging usage of the Black Whips was incredibly powerful, incredibly formation busting. Like he was actually just about to run right through all of Class B. So it's true, yeah. If they hadn't have calmed him down, not just for his own good, but for the good of Class B, Proto would have lost much faster. So I'm ready because I wanted to fight him and win. And that's true. That's what he said. Let's fight again. Something was all of that. I was only thinking about myself. Racerhead walking over with steps and determination that makes me feel like he's gonna smack Shinso or something. Or maybe hug him. I don't know. Nope! Corporal punishment called the GTA! No one ever had such high expectations of you. Day in and day out, a hero who can save people. A genius of All Might's caliber to suddenly ascend to that level for the sake of others. If you prioritize those feelings and nothing else, you won't be able to save anyone. Ah, interesting, interesting. So he's saying basically that to become strong enough to be a hero, to become good enough at heroics to become a hero, that it has to be self-motivated. It can't just be about that end result where hopefully you're the hero that can save everyone with a smile. It's much more about, like the process of getting there is much more about, I want to do this for myself because I'm so great. Because I want that satisfaction for myself. You know, I want to taste those victories and those achievements. Interesting, interesting. That's quite an interesting message to take in general. I'm sure that applies to a lot of things. Like things in your career, you know. Maybe you go into a career with like a really moralistic drive that you think, I'm going to bring positive change to the world by positioning myself in a power of influence, in a position of power and influence through my career. But if that's the only thing that motivates you, doing good at the end step, you probably won't get as far as somebody that's just like, nah, I want to climb the ladder, you know? Nah, I just want to prove myself at this level and this level and this level. No, I just want to get really good at doing this for my own sake. That's an extremely powerful motivator. That's sort of intrinsic motivation, because that's like always in you, you know? You don't need for things to necessarily even work out for you in order for that to work. Your failures will become motivating. Injustice becomes motivating. Difficulty becomes motivating. Yeah, yeah. You got a good point here, Eraserhead. If you don't have the power to do things on your own, you have no hope of protecting others. In respect of your actions, were more than good enough to pass this exam. Super fast at dropping those pipes to slow me down, too. Whoa, look at it's Deku's praise overload mode. He's just listing out all of the notes he made in his head about how good you are. How kind, but also embarrassing. And the whole time Shinso's like, Yeah, I probably would have won if you didn't magically use your mysterious black ropes. Excuse me, I don't know where you're coming off saying all this stuff when I basically beat you and then you just magically did something you've never done before. Oh, yeah. Deku is really piling it on here. I'm the one who really needs work. Get back to the review. Almost say probably, no, almost certainly. Starting next year, Shinso will transfer to the Hero Chorus. Nice, nice. Yeah, Class A, yeah. I wonder Class A or Class B. I don't know. I don't know. That's disgusting. Like the first crime. Yeah, well, true. Yeah, see, this is him. He wants to devour the spotlight. He wants to be the main character with this rant, even though he knows he's starting off as the supporter. Ah, yeah. So the fact that he copied Midoriya's quirk, that was a major downfall. He could have had another quirk in the bank. So yeah, a lot of BS with Midoriya's weirdness of his quirk. Really threw a lot of the strategy out the window. Probably they would have lost, even if they knew about the black vines beforehand, and were able to kind of like take that into consideration. Probably would have done a lot better. Not happening. Class is over for today. Such at some point. What does he mean by dud? Ooh, Monoma, come visit Eri with me tomorrow. Ooh, ooh, okay, alright, interesting, interesting. Alright, so a few things here. Deku is surprised that his quirk was a dud, even though I think that makes a bit of sense to me, that it's just the raw form of One For All that he's copying without anything loaded into it. Alright? But now they kind of want, it's like, can you replicate Aries' quirk? Oh, so okay, alright, here's a few ideas. One is that they're going to use him to copy Aries' quirk in order to target Eri and to try to like undo, to like rewind what she's done in order to save Lemillion. What's his name? It's not Mineta. It's a very different person. Oh, whatever. To try to save him. Or maybe like rewinding directly on him, knowing that Eri isn't really in control of her power yet, but maybe Monoma might be able to control the power better. Something like that. Look at his face in this panel, though. It's fantastic. Moreover, does he even know who Eri is? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You're just telling him, yeah, come on. Okay, all right. Interesting, interesting. We'll read the next. I think this might be it. I think this is the last chapter. Yeah, that's it. All right, we're caught up. We're caught up, man. We caught up to something now. It's just one series, but we're caught up. It's a start. It's a start. It's a start. Fantastic arc. Maybe my favorite in the whole series. Wonderful blend of like all of the unique strengths of the series with just superhero kids fighting it out in complicated team battles using lots of strategy and their unique quirks. But we also dipped in to some of the most haunting mysteries of the series and used those as a jumping off point to examine some of the biggest philosophical questions of the series. What does it mean to be a hero? What does it mean to self-sacrifice? So really just succeeding on all marks. The plot was advanced a bit insofar as Deku got another power-up, of course. Shinso is much more integrated. We know he's coming back to the hero story. And yet at the same time, nothing really happened with like the villains, with all of those outstanding threats and mysteries. So I expect the next arc is going to hit on those fronts really hard. We have so many mysteries, you know, Deku's double agent, or no, Deku, what the hell? Hawks being the double, triple, quadruple agent, and Endeavor stepping up to #1 hero, the new Nomu producing facilities with the new hyper, actually intelligent Nomus, and lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. So it's really cool to kind of like take such a break from that sort of progression and then return to it with like a freshness, not really knowing what angle they're gonna hit us from next. All right, great, great series. Let's look forward to something else. I think next we'll read Doctor Stone.